My name is Elsa D'silva and I'm the co-founder and managing director of Safecity. It is a platform that documents and crowdsources personal experiences of sexual violence in public spaces in India. We use this data so that information can be made available to individuals for their personal safety, as well as communities can use this data to hold institutions accountable and to rally themselves around an issue. You know, about 2.5 years ago, there was a horrific rape in Delhi where a young woman was brutally beaten and gang raped in a moving bus. And that incident got me thinking more about the issue of sexual violence, and I was reminded of my own personal stories that I had faced. During that time, I recall that there were several conversations in social settings, in the newspaper and on TV about sexual violence, the larger issue. Everyone that I spoke with had a story to share. And till then, none of us had actually shared it amongst ourselves. So I thought, why not use technology to actually capture these stories, even if it is anonymous? And if we could find a trend, could we then work on those trends, especially in public spaces, and make those public spaces safer? You know, because they are comfort zones for the perpetrator, and if we can get them out of those comfort zones, at least we could contribute towards eradicating the problem. So when I looked at the issue, I realized that the official statistics was alarming, but it did not reflect the true nature and size of the problem. So to give you an idea, according to UN Women, 1 in 3 women, that's every third woman, experienced some form of sexual assault at least once in her lifetime. And yet 80% of us choose not to talk about it. And I know from personal experience and from those of my friends that none of us went to the police. So I thought, how do we make this issue more visible? And one of the ways is technology. If we have a mobile phone in our hands, or if we have access to the internet, or if we can call a number and share our experience, we may not go to the police, but at least we document it. And if we are able to document it, we then have a large database which can point to the right solutions. I had to learn a lot of patience because things move a lot slowly in this space. But I'm overwhelmed with the cooperation, support and help that we receive from all quarters. It's amazing how people from all over the world have reached out, even within India. In fact, working with the police was the biggest surprise because I thought I would face a lot of resistance from them. In fact, it was so easy to show them the data and they were very happy to cooperate. For me, it was really about addressing stereotypes, about addressing, these preconceived notions that all of us have, including on sexual violence, and then helping people think through it and finding the right solution. Progress is always moving forward. So whilst there may be failures and there's stumbling blocks along the way, you can always learn from them. There's always a way out. I believe there's always a solution. Keep your eye on the ball, stay focused on the larger goal that you have for yourself and keep moving forward. That's what I would define as progress. So I think when we talk about digital India, it's very important that we look at all sections of society, because in the work that we do, when we talk about women themselves, and we work in mainly urban areas, there are a lot of women who have access to the internet, some don't. Maybe they have access to a mobile, but they don't use the mobile fully. So I think it should be simple, it should be far-reaching, it should touch every single person, whether you are urban, rural, high income, low income, all sections of society. And I think the processes of the government should be simplified so that it's easy for us to access anything, be it public safety records, be it easier to report, be it easier to get information on our legal rights, and anything under the sun. I think it's the key, it's essential, because if women are unable to go to the police to report something as routine as sexual violence, and I say routine because we face it daily in our everyday lives. So if we make it easy for them to report, and we can use technologies, make it easier for them to access justice, make it easier for them to access public records so that we can find solutions that are community-based, community-driven, and hold our elected representatives or institutions accountable. There's a lot of opportunity, especially young women entrepreneurs. I think they can really do well because there are a lot of grants, there are a lot of support systems in place, not just in India but also all over the world. They can take advantage of it. And I believe creating communities that support each other are on the rise. So if we access them and use them to our benefit, it will only help us. I think personal integrity is critical, and being focused on your larger goal so that you find the solutions and don't get sidetracked, because there will always be failures and stumbling blocks. But if you know what you want and you're working towards it, you will be on the right track.